Yo, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and today I'm going to show you some PvE in Albion. You can actually see a lot of this in my streams, but I think I'm going to do an official video here. We're going to go through and just kind of check out the base level, the base sort of instances inside the game, and I'm just going to kind of explain some mechanics of the game. And I feel like, in my opinion, and many other people's opinions, the overall hype factor of this game leaves PvE at really the bottom of the list. And that's actually kind of like really where the game has just now been trying to catch up. PvE is not the focus of the game, it is PvP, and yet I personally feel that there is still a lot of potential with PvE, and I'm going to explain why. This is not a sponsored video. I know there's lots of other people that have been very sponsored, but no, this is not sponsored. This is just my genuine, actual opinions. So here we go. If you want to do PvE, you can choose between, you can go into these journeyman expeditions, adepts, individual expeditions. It kind of goes, it levels up. I don't even know how much further it goes, but anyways, there's a bunch of different tiers. So these are kind of like difficulty ratings, and you get different rewards here. There's daily rewards and there's completion rewards. So for leveling, you're definitely going to want to go into these instances. Now you can do this, like you can see solo, you can join solo, or you can join as a group, and it does a looking for group. Now your other possibilities is going to be open world PvE, which is going to be like fighting like bears and stuff, rhinoceroses, since we're by the desert. Creatures like that. Then you have these, green means, whoa, what is that? I don't know what that means. What is that? Anyways, so green means, solo dungeons. And then you also have these, I don't even know what I haven't even gone to one of those giant freaking keeps. I don't even know. So yeah, anyways, and you have blue, which is kind of, those are dungeons that have like elite monsters. Now you might be able to solo one of them at a time, maybe, kind of. They just have huge amounts of health and they do lots of damages, and they tend to have lots of enemies. So they're really group dungeons. And then you have, let's see. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's what you do. You can go into the more dangerous areas. So like you have these higher tiers, stuff like that. There's also hell gates, and I don't know if you can actually see that on the map here. Hell gates are like these things that spawn kind of randomly. I mean, I think they have set intervals, but they're like a temporary little dungeon thing you fight over, and then you go, and it's kind of like an endgame raid kind of thing. So I don't know if I can actually show that. Maybe if I click on it. No, I don't think I can. Hold on. If I click on it, and then you can see, and then there will be like a little portal thing, so you can do that. Anyways, so that's the PvE options that you have currently right now. But for what you're going to do to level, which if you want to level, this is what you do, guys. And since I am trying to like focus on getting, access to a lot of different weapons here, as you can see, I have access to like every armor, almost every weapon, in the Destiny board. It's really, really fast, guys, if you use these expeditions. It's probably the fastest other than going into higher level areas with groups, but you can also go into these with groups. So I'm going to show you that right now. We're going to jump in here. Let's do a tier 4. So this is the tier that I'm currently at. And what that means, guys, is that's the tier of like weapon kind of. So to do a tier 4, you could do it in tier 3 if you're really good. Like, it takes skill, and if you plan it out appropriately. Yeah, I mean, really, you can't go like 2 tiers higher. Like 1 tier, you can kind of, as long as you're very careful, but tier 4, you should be doing tier 4 to be doing it efficiently. So let's go solo. I'm going to show it solo so we can really show off the mechanics of the game. If you want to see group play, you can just check out some of my streams. In fact, I'm probably going to be streaming as this is uploaded. So yeah, click the little thing in the bottom left of the video. I'm streaming here on YouTube. So to really show off the game here, I'm going to be playing with a weapon that I just now unlocked. So I have not really learned its mechanics so that you can really see how I react to the game. Now, as you can see, there is no turn rate. So if you play League of Legends or other high mechanical action RPGs, then yeah, you'll fall right in love with this game because there are skill shots and things that you need to be aware of. So we're just going to auto-attack this guy to death. As you can see, this guy dies pretty easy. Now, if you're playing in a group dungeon, their health is going to be like times 4 or 5. So yeah, we can just auto-attack these guys down. But as you can see, there's going to be more and more and more. And these guys, immediately, they're no threat, obviously, right? This is just, getting us introduced into the dungeon, into the theme of the dungeon and everything. Now, what becomes a problem, though, is when they kind of start to swarm you. And the problem also becomes when they are ads with like mages or archers, people that you need to interrupt, that you need to actually take care of immediately. But you have these other guys that they don't have much health, but they can do damage if they swarm you. Anyway, so I do know my weapon has interrupts. So what we're going to do is save our interrupts. We're not just going to spam them too often here. So yeah, we're just going to try to go for that survivability. Now, some creatures aren't going to use their abilities as often as... I don't know how this works, but sometimes they don't use their abilities unless you're locked onto them. And so that archer didn't use his ability. Also, some abilities aren't used at all unless you're in group play. So, but I imagine once you get into the higher tiers, even in solo play, they're going to start using their skill sets. So here's an instance where we have to kill this guy first, and then the archer. So we're just going to have to run over here. Kill this guy super quick, and then charge over here. Get those heroic stacks up, which is our ability. Once it's on 3, we can use our E for big damages. There we go. And clear them pretty fast. Now, if you're DPS, you want to focus on, well, obviously, DPSing. And you see I'm hurt. Normally, you know, you would want to heal. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to heal. This is why I have Mend Wounds on for my chest piece instead of having something that's combat-oriented. Because it's more important for me in order to just clear the dungeons. I'll switch to a combat ability whenever we get to a boss. So yeah, whenever that happens, then we'll get to a boss. Whenever we... It's more likely that maybe we'll die or something. Let's go ahead and wreck this guy's face. As you can see, that guy actually didn't charge at me. He actually charged to the side. See, some creatures are actually kind of smart, and they'll do that. Sometimes they'll kite away and stuff like that. Barely, rarely, but I haven't gotten too high yet. But overall, the AI for the monsters, they're pretty... They got potential. They got potential, I think. They could be better, but overall, the chasing is definitely real there. I think the aggro radiuses are also pretty reasonable, something that I like to mention in MMOs. If it's too sour, bad, or, you know, good in this game, I think it's pretty good. So we're doing big deeps here, and then as you see, we take a lot of damage. We really do. I probably maybe should have some plate armor or something to be a little bit more defensive since I am playing solo, but I don't know. I could be using D. Also, for solo play, I would do suggest having some invisibility. Even if you're DPS especially, invisibility breaks aggro. So that's pretty good for survival, definitely. Because like I said, these guys will chase. Now I think this guy has an attack. Yeah, we want to stop that. We want to stop that because that is so annoying. That's gonna make our oh my god. He just sits there and swings his blade like a million times, dude. It's so annoying. Really don't want him to do that because it just takes so long to kill him because you have to walk out of the circle. Yeah, pretty annoying. So anyways, he actually has 2 abilities, but it's only showing the 1 there. Which is fine, So yeah, as you can see, we're like a fourth of the way through the dungeon. We're just kind of being introduced into the dungeon here very slowly, very Care Bear-like, I would imagine. But, you know, that's actually kind of the point of these expeditions. See, a lot of people go into this and they think the expeditions these are the only dungeons, because there's only so many, and, you know, you kind of do the same thing over and over again. But no, these expeditions are the bare bones dungeons. Really, you want to go out into the world and then do the group dungeons. Those are the real dungeons. These are the tutorial dungeons. Also, if I do die... you'll see that you don't actually die. Of course, you have, you know, potential for some stuff to break. Probably won't, though. All right, so we need to clear these guys real quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to poison this guy real quick. Poison him. And then let's go clear this guy. Clear. I'm going to save my W for that, because fuck that. And there we go. Kill that. And there we go. Now we can kill this guy. But as you can see, even just taking the time to clear those other soldiers there, you know, it's... we kind of took some more damage. So as you can see, man, you can get into some pretty big dangers, man. Some pretty big dangers. Now, see, we're actually leveling up pretty quickly. So I got Leather Jacket ready to learn there. So if I went to my Destiny board, I leveled up my jacket a little bit, which is over here. So it's going to be this guy, I think. Yeah, I can learn this and increase the power of it. I think as a whole, can I level this up? Yes, I can. So now it's level 6. And at these different tiers, I'm able to use different things. So at level 10, I will be able to use tier 5 leather armor, which is pretty exciting stuff. So yeah, actually doing these expeditions, even if you don't get the daily reward, it's pretty good for leveling up. But that's all these dungeons are, guys. They're kind of tutorial dungeons. They're there for you to... Oh, God. Okay, no, we interrupted. Okay, that was kind of scary in the air. So having interrupts is pretty good. Now, you can see clearly that, you know, there's skill shots and things. You don't need interrupts. In PvP, you know, sometimes it can be good, but, you know, not every build has interruptible spells and stuff like that. So interrupts are cool, but I think just, you know, dodging is totally viable. Like, if you just want to move out of the way, completely, you can do that, guys. It's not a, you know, it's a non-issue a lot of the times, but it's pretty good to have those in groups, especially if time is of the essence. So right now, we're doing a video. Time is of the essence. Let's get some interrupts so I can clear through these dudes. So yeah, Twin Swords. Twin Swords seems... And this is a note that I want to talk about for PvE in this game, sorry. So PvE in this game is, as you can see, there's skill shots, there's mechanics. We haven't even gotten to a boss yet. But when you see that, there's definitely, you have to avoid stuff. Like, you will get killed, guys. It will wreck your faces. It's tragic if you die, but it's also always your fault. So there we go, doing some big deeps. Big damages. Oh yeah. Okay, so there's a boss coming up here, so I'm just gonna heal up real quick. Now I don't have to fight the boss with all those ads. If you're smart, you can pick them apart. If you're smart, you can pick them apart. So let's actually just kind of aggro. And this is something that you're gonna do in groups or otherwise. Especially solo though, you have to do this. So we're gonna pull this guy just a little bit. do some damage here. Just kind of, kind of clear these guys as fast as possible. There we go. Okay, now we can finish this guy off. I'll even poison him, just so we can, kill him even faster. There we go. Now, yes, a point about PvE that is something that a lot of people don't realize is about the weapon. So I'm using a weapon that I would consider as a PvP weapon. It counters certain PvP builds, but it's not very flexible in my opinion. But the thing is some weapons are immediately good for PvE and then later for PvP. So I think that the dual swords, which is in the sword section here, we have dual swords. So you can see here we have threat generation increased. So maybe potentially you could be a tank or off tank with this weapon, but not immediately. And right here we have deep cuts, which is just good for overall DPS. So that's pretty good for PvE. And then over here we have life leech, which probably could be good for PvE or solo play, but you don't get that until much later on. So you're kind of relegated to just being a DPS in a group versus being able to do really efficient solo play, in my opinion. Now, spinning blades is pretty cool because that's AoE. You can farm really quickly, but that's just one example, I think. Another is going to be over here with the, let's see, the quarterstaff here. So quarterstaff is supposed to be like a pseudo tank weapon, but as you can see, even if we go to the ironclad, all of these, actually, if you look at these, all of these have the same, like little stats here, except for the special one here. It has an extra one. So if we go down here, yeah, the temporary threat bonus. So this is supposed to be like, this is like quarterstaff is okay for ganking. It definitely is, but that's PvP. But for actually leveling this item in PvE, it doesn't do much damage. It's CC oriented, which is for PvP. Or it could be good for tanking potentially, but you have to unlock that much later on. The threat bonus, because you need to actually taunt people, okay? So if you use this weapon and you're trying to level it, it's very difficult. So in my opinion, I feel like every weapon immediately should be focused on the PvE stats so that you can level it, and then the PvP, equipment and abilities, that's unlocked later. So there's just like a little bit of give and take, and yes, some weapons are clearly made for PvE, like the flail. Let's see, if we actually go to, like, shields to an extent in some ways, but the flail, right here. So we have the flail specialist. If you actually go look at flail here, you can see that it has like 2 taunts, so there's a threat generation there. There is, I think, another threat generation, and then does it have temporary? Yeah, and it also has temporary threat bonus that you can actually activate too. So it has like multiple ways to actually acquire threat, and also it does AoE. So the flail is really great for tanking, but like, some weapons just aren't good for really anything. They're kind of like jack of all trades. Not even really. They're just, I don't know, but that's the thing about balance, and that's the thing on leveling. So depending on how you want to level and how you want to play, the game's gonna feel different. So if you want to use dual swords and PvP, you're gonna have to go through a lot of PvE before you get the PvP item, acquisition. That's all I'm saying. So keep that in mind, and that's why it's taking me so long to grind through some of these weapons, because they're just not that efficient, especially early on. That's really, I guess I probably could have just said that quickly, but whatever. Okay, so now we're gonna fight a boss, and potentially I could die or something. So I'm going to do Bloodlust. We're going to switch, and I like that they added this in. So now you can switch abilities at any time. So normally I would have Heroic Cleave on. I don't know why. I forgot to put it on so I can, cleave enemies. But since we're just going to fight one target, I'm going to switch it to Heroic Strike. And so, yeah, on the fly, you can kind of switch depending on the encounter. And so let's go. And if we get in trouble, we can always go invis. So we got to watch out for all the skill shots, man. All the skill shots, keeping the hype alive here. So we're gonna get our heroic charges. Now we have a lot of speed. I can interrupt if I wanted to. Also, guys, this laser beam is not a joke, dude. It will wreck your faces, man. So you can kill it, or you can just kind of dance around it. Absolutely not an issue here. It's always gonna go clockwise. So here we go. And we're just gonna stop that, interrupt that, kill him. There we go. Again, guys, I'm making this look easy, but I've already done this a couple of times. Now, the solo dungeons are essentially the same look and feel and everything as the co-op dungeons. But the co-op dungeons with parties are going to have new abilities. They are much more difficult, and you probably will actually die. Even though these are the beginner dungeons, you will probably still die. So keep that in mind. The PvE in this game has a tremendous amount of potential. In fact, even when PvE wasn't really focused on in the least, in the previous like alphas and stuff, I actually had a lot of fun playing as a solo player. Trying to do solo builds and soloing a lot of monsters and bosses. I thought it was a tremendous amount of fun. Now, mages, you really need to work on this next attack. Okay, they do a freeze and they do an AoE. You either need to immediately begin dodging that as soon as you get frozen, or you need to interrupt it. You need to. So keep that in mind, guys. Okay, so now we don't have a boss for quite a little bit, so I'm going to switch over to the mend wounds here. Yeah, so on the fly, you do have to wait for your abilities to re-cool down there, and you can leave the dungeon, but if you leave the dungeon early, then you won't be able to do another of these expeditions for a little bit. It's like 15 minutes, I believe. So queuing up, in my experience, even though this is a very PvP-heavy game, it's pretty easy and fast to find groups. The looking for group is instantaneous, essentially. You might have to... Okay, we might have to just kind of rush up here, kill this guy real quick, like. There we go. Okay, now just get in this guy's face. I interrupted the wrong one. Oh, that didn't... Okay, well, there's some big damage. Yeah, okay, well, see, I made a mistake, and one mistake can actually wreck you. Now, as you can see, we're actually in a perilous situation here, because they do have mobs that actually kind of run around here. And it looks like, did I aggro those guys from below? It looks like I did, so let's kind of heal up. And luckily, we didn't aggro that other guy. Yeah, aggroing people, you know, that you didn't expect to, because there's patrols and stuff, that's going to get you killed. 100% you're going to die at least one time because of that. Somewhere along the line. So I'm going to let him freeze me, but I'm not going to let him do that. So, yeah. There we go. We got decent fame. Yep. Leveling up, leveling up. Silver takes a little bit to spawn there. So there we go. Okay. Now, yeah, I am of the opinion that PvE can be really fun. I can't deny that it does get kind of repetitive, but at least as solo, it kind of feels like a stealth game in some ways. Like, you have to see, like, there's patrols, you have to wait. I mean, I probably could just handle all of them, but, you know, just as an example, sometimes you have to wait, sometimes you don't, sometimes you just rush in. But, you know, in a game like this, especially when you get to the yellow and red zones, you know, being defenseless can suck, man. Like, if you get caught out, you know, it can really suckles. Okay, so we're just gonna walk out of this. So you don't have to interrupt it. Like, you can walk out. You do have options in how you tackle some of these creatures, man. Some builds are gonna counter other monsters and PvP builds, stuff like that. Now this guy patrols in a circle, so ooh, okay, we aggroed this guy. Can we run away? Try to get him to come to us here. There we go. This is better. This is much better. So we're just gonna do the things. Oh, actually, we're gonna pull him away because that guy's. It looks like there's a double patrol. Come on over. Because yeah, I don't want to get killed, especially since that guy has like a stun. I believe. I don't know if he's actually gonna use that here. It's kind of hard to pull range, obviously, but there we go. Monsters, as you can see, also have mana. Now, the previous build, sometimes I'd fight bosses for so long they just completely run out of mana. I suppose that is a tactic. I don't know if there's any energy draining abilities in the game right now. But yeah, anyways, there's a lot of cool abilities and you know, ways to tackle these monsters. Right now, especially as a new player, it may seem very repetitive. Oh, crap, I should have interrupted it. So see, you're just going to do this forever, and I basically have to wait that out. So, yeah. Now, if you're playing in a group, this can do a lot of damage, and yeah, priests are going to hate you. Healers are going to hate you if you just let that happen. So, here we go, just doing some big deeps. Wait for that cast again. Interrupt that. Interrupting that is amazing. Yeah, especially in group play where, you know, you're not going to just wait that out. There we go, and we got Cloth Cowl Fighter is ready to learn. So I think that is right here. We can actually... Oh, that's a mess. Sorry. Right here, and we can now learn this. And we are now level 7 with this. So, hey, we're almost at level 10. We almost can use tier 5 of the cloth. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, it does level up individually. Alright, so let's aggro this guy. So the dungeons can take a little bit. Even though it seems very simplistic and there's not too many bosses. Oh, again, I forgot to interrupt it. You gotta remember, these are the tutorial dungeons, which is why I'm doing a video on these dungeons here as a solo player. So you can see the tanking mechanics, kind of. Oh yeah, so speaking about tanking mechanics, there's threat generation, there's all that. It's basically your holy trinity. Though tanking in Albion can be a little bit different. It's more kite-based. In fact, you can just have kiting. You can have a team of full DPSs and just kite if you're good enough. So it's like there is a trinity, but it's like it's a soft trinity. It's definitely harder than like Guild Wars 2. Definitely, it's not as fluid, but yeah. So here we go. Now, fighting with different weapons is going to have different types of gameplay. Like, you are going to have completely different experiences. If you're using a bow or a spear, you're going to be kiting a lot more, which is really fun, I think. Let's just kill this guy real quick, like. You'll be kiting a lot more. You're not just going to be, you know, smashing them in the face. You got a number of different ranged weapons that can slow and things like that. Even melee weapons that can slow, like the spear, that are pseudo-ranged. So yeah, kiting and moving backwards is going to help you take less damage, as you can see. Now, before, the creatures, the mobs, used to actually track much better. But I'm glad it was kind of toned down, it seems, or they gave us more tools, at least, to kite actual PvE mobs. which is fantastic. I think that's something that that a lot of people really asked for. Oh, let's aggro this guy. Okay, well, this is actually bad. So we're actually just gonna go invisible. There's no way. Yeah, there's no way. I can't interrupt both of those guys, so that just isn't gonna happen. So anyways, that's why you get invisibility. So hopefully we don't aggro both of them. Can we just aggro one of them? Because I just can't do two. I simply can't. You can't interrupt both of them, and it just becomes super annoying. And I forgot. Oh, no, I did. Okay, good. It's pretty close to not interrupting that. We're going to just poison him so we can move quicker through here. Should be able to just finish this guy off now. So yeah, a lot of this, it seems like I'm just kind of standing still. Right now, I just need to. But even in group play, there's a lot of times where you'll be moving. You'll be moving around. Don't worry, guys. Even if you don't see it in these tutorial little dungeons, trust me, when you get into the game, a lot of it is very mobile. A lot more mobile than a lot of action RPGs that I played. But remember, this is not an action RPG. This game is a full-on MMORPG that focuses on PvP. So even like, you know, this is the base value PvE. I think it's worthwhile. I think it's worthwhile to play it. It's got some interesting mechanics. It's very cool to mix and match abilities and try out different builds, even in PvE. And then just kind of, you know, while you're waiting on the dungeon, just kind of duel people. That's a cool experience, man. Just sitting in the city and doing that. Of course, there is that complaint, though. There is a complaint that since this game is focused on open world content, that with this addition of this kind of content, which is, you know, instanced and stuff, that it's going to draw people away. And they're not wrong about that. But you have to remember that this is not the end game. This is basically the tutorial. This is just getting started in the game. So if you keep dying on the tutorial, which honestly, I don't blame you. Like, it can be kind of difficult. It's not an easy game. If you keep dying, then you know you need to keep practicing. Because I'm glad they added this into the game, because it would really suck to, you know, have your first dungeon, you know, you go out into the wilderness in a PvP zone or whatever, and you just get wrecked. You just get wrecked either by players or by, you know, the monsters, because you had no idea what to expect. To an extent, that's going to happen still, because you don't get to practice everything. Okay, so here I'm actually going to pull this guy. There we go. Yeah, you got to be very careful. Pulling is an art. It is an art. Okay, I'm going to let him freeze me, and then I'm going to walk out of it. You need to, like, immediately begin walking out of that. Like, serial dude. Alright, so we'll kill this guy pretty quickles-like. Hopefully he doesn't throw us any curveballs here. Nope. There it is. We just got him. Clickety-clacked. Done. We'll aggro this guy. Move him back here. We'll move him quick. I'm going to poison him. Make sure to cancel that. There we go. And yeah, every class has like their own unique mechanics, and I know it doesn't seem like there's many abilities down below, but I think it's really appropriate enough, especially if you come from a place like League of Legends. You know, if you play League of Legends and you want to play a game where you can make your own kind of kits, and you know, you still have mechanics and skill shots and stuff, there's definitely, you know, gameplay with that. And even if you're just auto attack based, which is kind of what this build is sort of a little bit, you can still have a lot of fun with, you know, kiting mobs to an extent, because this instead of slowing people, actually move really fast with this. So I can kite certain mobs if I need to, and play on my cooldowns instead of auto attacks, or you could just go ham in the face. So let's go ahead and pull this. Oh, no, we fuckled up. So what we're going to do is kind of run down here, and we're going to go Invisibra. Yep, we kind of fuckled up. I really like this. This is really good for survivability. And then you even get a speed boost afterwards, so that's pretty fantastic. There's also lots of different kinds of invisibility too, guys. There's like 3, 4 different kinds of, you know, abilities that you can have that go invisible. All right, so now let's aggro you. Yeah, I don't think I could really handle both. I mean, maybe I could, but, you know, being safe. That's what it's all about. Okay, yeah, freeze me. I run up. Oh, boy. Uh-oh. Oh, okay, I thought I didn't get out of that. That was close. Oh, yeah, guys, remember to turn on effects. If you don't have effects, you're not going to see the danger circles, guys. Which is, you know, they're dangerous. Oh, man, we wrecked them. Okay, let's go get this guy's poison. Get that going on here. Just doing the deeps. Dual swords is pretty cool. I mean, Kirito-chan. Oh, it's on. Whatever. Anyways, so yeah. PvE, man. Here we go. Of course, not to the extent. This is just the base value. But even if this looks interesting to you, then it only goes up from here. That's kind of the point I wanted to make with this video. Is that this is the most basic form of PvE aside from just killing critters in the open world. This is the PvP at its bare bones. It only gets more complicated when you add in, you know, the PvP potential. When you get in groups. And, also, you know, of course, all the different creatures that are going to have unique movesets and stuff. So this is probably one of the easier dungeons. Actually, can we... I think we can just handle these guys, but... We're just going to stack up heroic charges so we can just literally charge through this next area here. Should be able to just kind of do a big damages. There we go. Clear him. Don't aggro the boss, because the boss is going to hit hard. But I do want to kill the ads around him. Lots of fame. Lots of silver. Fame is basically experience points, guys. BT dubs. Boom! Yeah, so some weapons are AoE focused, some weapons are single target focused, some are more survival focused, some are team focused, some are PvP focused. There's a lot of different kind of weapons, and not just aesthetically, and not just like mechanically, but like they actually do play different roles, literally, like they kind of would in real life, I guess. You know, different weapons were used for specific things and for specific formations, stuff like that. There's a chest over there, so actually, let's go clear these guys. Let's go get a chest, man. What I'm talking about. Let's go do that. I'll go get a chest. So yeah, sometimes you can find chests and things. So let's go kill this. Get some silver. 200 silver. Hype. Okay. I'm cool with that. Bada bing. All right, and we're going to kill the boss. And that's going to be the end here. As you can see, you have a little checklist, like a little quest line. You get rewards here and stuff. And you get this, which, I don't know, it's a currency for something. Anyway, so let's go fight a boss. Hopefully we don't suck it up. So let's do it. We just got to make sure that we wreck this guy. Actually, I think we can clear this guy. Actually, let's interrupt that. Oh, let's move out of the way of this. Kill this guy real quick. Like, ooh, this guy is kind of stronger because he's a summoned skeleton. Okay, we're going to use a potion here just in case because he's kind of wrecking our faces here. Interrupt that. Oh, that's not an interrupt. Ooh, that was scary. I forgot that's not an interrupt ability. So as you see, we're taking some big damage, dude. Taking some big damage. We're going to save that interrupt, though. Let's use the poison again. Here. Yeah, just interrupt that. So you're going to do the fireball soon. We got a speed boost so we can walk out of that super easy. So as you can see, this one boss that I'm soloing and I have interrupts, actually kind of hurt me pretty bad. So if you mess up, I mean, if you hit me with a nuke, it could have been scary, guys. You even used the potion. So absolutely. And I was in full tier 4, so that was a full fair fight. Now, it only gets more complicated from here. And this was your first step in Albion. Now, if you think it's boring or otherwise, just know it does get a little bit better. That's my personal opinions. But you're going to be doing this a lot. You're going to be trying out different builds, and it's a good way to level up. So, in some ways, some people say it's going to be Care Bear, and in others, you're going to try this, and you'll be like, this is easy. I saw Sky do this. He walked right through this, and you're going to die, okay? So, yes, I've died a couple of times, but at least in this, in these dungeons, you do get right back up. Your stuff can break if you die enough, but you do get back up, and it's not like you fail the dungeon like you would in open world. So this is, it's a little bit easier to actually get acquainted with the game, and hopefully you are getting acquainted with the game with Albion Online, because personally, I enjoy it. No, it's not going to be for everybody, but I think it's an interesting game, even at its most bare bones components, like with the PvE that you just saw. I actually have been doing that the most in this game because I think there is potential, and I really wanted to analyze it and show it off to you guys. So, thanks for watching, guys. You can find these portals in any major city. I suggest that you guys go do that. Go to your first major city as soon as possible. Start running these dungeons, leveling up your, leveling up your weapons, your gear, and trying out different kits and stuff to find out what you want to do. Figure out the roles you want to play, and then from there, then you really begin to play Albion Online. I promise you, these expeditions, that's not the real game. That's just the beginning. That's just the window that you can then begin to gleam through and see what the real game is like. Hopefully you know now. Thanks for watching, guys. My name's Skylent. This was PvE in Albion Online. Solo expeditions. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.